everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Well, the Terri Bow video is finally here. I'm so happy to be able to present this today. And let's have a big shout out to Terri Lynn Marshall with Mill and Deal Designs. Terri Lynn's a very good friend of mine, and of course she has a pro bow. And she was playing around one day, and she's the creator of this bow. She shared it with me. I thought it was fabulous. So here it is today on a wreath. You can see that it's a standalone bow, but you can put two on a wreath, make a beautiful wreath. It's great for all of your ends. The longest piece of ribbon on this bow is only 47 inches. So, of course, you can start from the beginning of your spool, of course. But for all of those ends, what a great way to now use all of that ribbon up. I'll see, I think there's 5 or 6 different ribbon in here. I'll count again in just a moment. And then this is all just a lot of ends of pieces that I had, and it just makes a beautiful bow and a beautiful wreath. So, again, huge shout out to Terri Lynn Marshall. That's why it's named the Terri Bow. This is in honor of her. And of course the Terri Bow is not just for wreaths. I can hear the wows all the way here. Isn't this gorgeous? I just knew you would love this. What a beautiful wedding present. And it's using the burlap ribbon, which everybody seems to think is a little bit more difficult to work with, but actually it's not. Not with Pro Bow the hand and the Terri Bow. What a gorgeous present. Okay, here I have put a Whimsical Bow or a Funky Bow right next to the new Terri Bow. Now I love them both, but they each have their own application. As you can see here in the Whimsical Bow, all the loops are the same size. They're all pretty big, and they just kind of flop around. They move easily, and as you can see, this would never be pretty on a package, I don't believe, or used by itself in a wreath. To use the Whimsical Bow and make these really pretty is that you make lots of them, at least 6 or 7, and put them together and put them all together to make something pretty. And we will switch over to a wreath that I made using these bows, and you'll just see that in just a moment. And now you can see on the Terri Bow, you can plainly see the difference. You see how much taller a bow that this is? You'll see that as we're making it, why this comes out this way. And you'll see that in the process of making it, and you will see all the loops are different sizes. This is really a stacked bow. All of this is just different size loops. We start on finger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 different ribbon in here, and it's stacked. It's all separate pieces of ribbon, and you'll see that in a moment. But you can see just how differently this comes out. I think you're going to really love this bow. And using this bow, you can see from the other pictures that it's standalone. You can use it on a package. Just put 2 together on a wreath, and it makes a beautiful wreath. So that is the difference between the Terri Bow and the Whimsical Bow. Also, you're going to see that this takes just a little bit more time to make, because I'm not going to be pulling all the ribbon at one time. I'm going to be doing each piece of ribbon one at a time. And so now finally we're there, and I will show you how to create this wonderful bow. Okay, to start, I want to say just a couple of words about ribbon selection and why I selected the ribbon for this bow, and why I'm going to use the ribbon in the steps that I am. This is the ribbon that I chose to begin with. And you can see I wanted something very, very colorful, and it matched all those little flowers that I had. So this is my original ribbon. And as you can see, all the other ribbon exactly match. See how beautiful the blues are together? And then the yellow, of course the yellow is perfect with it. I wanted to pull out that purple. the orange, especially the orange. Orange is so hot today. Okay, and all of these, this is a little solid sheer, 1 inch. This has a little design, 1 inch. This is a 2-inch. And then of course these are the 2-inch also. And then this is my last one. And you can see there again, I certainly wanted to pull in the orange and the green. And so whenever you're selecting your ribbon, just try to make them all work together and just be beautiful together and really help show each other up. I had to play with this for a little while. I really thought the pink was going to be the best, but I kind of opened my spools up and I put them all together and I dropped the pink out. The orange showed up the best in it. So kind of open your ribbon, make some loops in your hand, and I think that will help you in your ribbon selection. Start with your very favorite one. Why did I want to do this? This was my favorite. This is a very popular ribbon right now. It was my very favorite, and I made all the other ribbon work with it. So that's just a little word on ribbon selection. Oh, also, I wanted to have some 1-inch ribbon in this one, and I wanted it to come out, wanted it to come out the top. So that's why I'm going to pull that first. I'm going to pull this one and then another 1-inch. I'm going to put this one next because this sets all of the ribbon in the bow, and so that'll be in the next position, and then all the other colors will be behind it and setting off those colors. So if you're wondering, and if that might help you, that is how I selected the ribbon and the colors for this particular bow. So you might keep that in mind. Okay, the next thing that's very important for this particular little bow is this is different. This is going to take 2 pieces of wire. This is, and I think you might be able to see this and see the difference. This is my 26 gauge wire that I always say use in all my videos. I say 26 gauge wire, and you may be able to tell this is smaller. You want to use a much smaller wire. In this case, it's not a whole lot smaller. It's all I could find, but I had this one in stock, and but I wanted to get on with this finally, and but this is the smallest other little wire that I could find, and you'll see just in a second why this little piece of wire is so important and why it needs to be small. So that's the next little step. This is the bow recipe for this particular bow. I'm working on row C. As you can see here, we're going to have no center loop. It's going to be fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right and left. You're going to do 1 loop on each finger. And of course there's the base finger. And finally, I'm going to start. I know you're going, lady, hurry up. Are you going to ever show me how to make this bow? Yes, we're finally here. I am going to start. So here we go. Okay, as you can see in making this bow, we're going to use each piece of ribbon one at a time. So like I said, this does take just a little bit more time and a little effort because you do use them one at a time. This is a stacked bow. I'm going to start out dovetailing my end. Just let that out the way. Here's my measurement. So I'm using the board as my measurement. I don't have to pull out a tape measure or anything. So there's my measurement. And I find that this is long enough right here to the E, especially on my 1-inch ribbon. The other I'll probably bring all the way out to the end. So there's my measurement. Just the tip to the E, and then here's the center. This is the bottom of the bow. In making this bow, you're going to see it's very important. I think if you kind of get this into your mind, you're making a bow sideways. That's all you're doing. And this is the bottom of your bow. This is the top of your bow. And you'll see that as we're making that, I'll keep referring to that. So bottom of the bow, top of the bow, this way. So so you pinch, swing it around into your left hand. Now this, I'm using my 26 gauge wire. I'm using the biggest piece of wire here to start. Okay, I'm going to do 1, 2, wire up, wire down. Then I'm going to come to my base finger, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the base of your base finger. You're going to go to the left. That's very important. Don't go to the right. If you go to the right, your ribbon's going to tend to do this. You're going to go here, and then you're going to go around. You're going to come up to the top and get this piece of wire out of your way for now, and leave a little piece so you can get that off at the end. The other piece of wire goes around the nail just once, and stick that in under the board. Just leave yourself a little bitty piece. Get this out of your way for now. Okay? Now you're going to go around finger 1 right. Come to your base finger. There's your pinch and your twist. You don't have to worry about the twist too much in a little sheer ribbon like this. It looks the same on both sides, so it kind of doesn't matter, but we'll get into that in a moment on the other one. There's your pinch, and there's your twist. Now, here's where your other little piece of wire comes into play. See how we've done this? Finger 1 right, finger 1 left. Here's my other small little piece of wire. You're going to come from the top, and you see how I'm bringing this through here? Go to the right and just pull that around. Terry and I have both tried doing this. We've tried making this bow without using this little piece of wire here, and it's pretty difficult. So all this little piece of wire is just to hold your ribbon in place. Because you don't have a continuous length of ribbon going around all your little spools, it doesn't hold well in the other method of bow making. So you need this little piece of wire here, so you can use each piece of your ribbon as you go. So that's all you do. You can just do it once. You just want to make sure that you do it tightly. You want to do every time. You can twist it more than once if you like. That's just up to you. And then kind of just get that out of your way. You want one up and one down because you're going to be working between this wire. So now I can pull this over here. I'm going to bring it over here to this E. I'm going to fold it and make my little dovetail. It's cut, and I'm done with that little piece with this ribbon. Now look what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this over here and get this out of my way. Now it's completely out of my way. Now, that's all there is to it. This is how you're going to build your bow. You're going to stack your bow. Every one of these loops is a ½ an inch larger than the one before it. So, here is my second ribbon. I start dovetailing it. There's my measurement. And now what you want to do when you do this is the top of your bow. So what do I want to do with this piece of ribbon? I want to turn it this way because this is the top, this is the bottom. So I want to see the right side of my ribbon from this way. So I just pick it up and put it here. There's my measurement. Pinch. And listen, don't do this. Make a nice little gather. All your bows will come out better. You can pinch that real good, make a pretty little gather. You see how it just has a little gather there. Your bow will come out, it'll open easier at the end. Look, you see, bring one up, one down, and you're just holding that in place with that piece of wire. You can let go at any time. Now, you're going to bring this around finger 2 right. This is your second ribbon. Here's your pinch. And you want to, there's your little twist. And now you're bringing this around, keeping your ribbon face up. There's your pinch. And there's your twist to bring the face of your ribbon up. See, there's the face of my ribbon is pointing up. This is top. Face of my ribbon pointing up. And look, I'm going to get it out of my way. Go ahead and tie this off. You're just going to tie off each little piece of your ribbon. You can do it once, you can do it twice. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel like doing. Whatever's more comfortable for you, whatever works the best for you. Cut that little piece of wire. Cut this little piece of of your ribbon off. Dovetail it and get it out of your way. So that's your second ribbon. and you just keep doing this. This is what this should look like. This is what this should look like for now. Make sure that whenever you're bringing each piece of ribbon on, you continually stack straight out. You don't want to put one here and then put one there. Your bow will not come out right. Your loops, your length of your loops is going to be all messed up. What's important is you just keep this completely stacked out right on top of each other, and I'll continually be showing you that. So let's go to the next one. Here is my ribbon. This is the piece of ribbon that I based my bow on. I want it to be in the middle, and so that's where it'll be. So since now I'm coming to my 2-inch ribbon, I'm going to make it just a little bit longer. See, I'm going to bring it all the way to the end of the board, and I'm going to pinch it. Just pinch and just sit it here face up. This is the top of the bow, so the face of my ribbon is pointing upward. So take that piece of wire, tie it off. You're just using this little piece of wire to hold this in place. There you go. Pull your ribbon around. There's your little pinch. There's your twist, bringing your face of your ribbon up. There's your pinch. There's your twist. You want to bring the face of that ribbon up. In this bow, it's not so much about the twist in your ribbon because you're cutting it off every time. It's bringing the face of your ribbon so that it points upward. See? This is the back of your ribbon. That's the bottom, top. Here we go. Wire it in place. This is important too. Whenever you open your bow, with this wired off, each one of these rows wired off, that's the reason why it stacks so pretty and it stays in place. It's not wobbly. It doesn't go all over the place. It just stays in place. That's why that burlap one looks so pretty, because each one of these rows is wired in place. See? Straight out. We're coming straight out. Not up here, not down there. Straight out. Let's go to the next one. Next one's the yellow. So that's all you just keep doing. You just keep stacking your ribbon. Dovetail. There's my measure. Pinch. My ribbon is facing right side of ribbon, facing the top. Let's wire it off so it'll stay right in place. It won't move on me whenever I start opening my bow. It's going to stay right in place, and it's going to really give me that tall stacked effect on the bow. So there's my pinch, bringing the right side of the ribbon up. You see, I can get this out of my way now. There you go. There's my pinch. There's the twist, bringing the right side of the ribbon up. Let's see, where's my wire? Here we go. Got to keep track of your wire. Here it is. There you go, tied off. There's my measurement. So you don't have to measure any ribbon. You use the board for your measurements. Okay, so we just have 2 to go. Get that out of your way. See how neat this is? See, it's completely neat and everything's out of your way. That's how it's supposed to look. There you go. Oops. Throwing the board around there. Okay. Same thing. You just keep doing the same thing, but each row the bow just gets bigger and bigger. So there's my measurement. On this long one, I'm coming all the way to the end of the board. There's my little pinch, wired in place. You can do a single twist. You can do it once, twice, whatever you like. On this thicker ribbon, I'll do it twice. Okay, facing up. You get tired of hearing me saying that, but I want to make sure that you do this right. Don't have any trouble. There's my pinch.
Here's my little twist. I just twist it in my finger. You see, I didn't push it against there. I just know that that's, okay, there's my measurement. I kind of pulled it out here. I made my little twist over here. I want a good tight little twist. Put it in place. And look, I kind of put my hand around like this. I'm holding everything in place till I get it around. Get this out of your way. See how neat it is? It just comes out really neat. All your ribbon in complete control. Here's, okay, there's my measurement right there. See, I can pull it away over here, and because it's a thicker ribbon, I can give it a good twist. You see that? I'm not pushing against that. I'm just bringing it over here and then put it back in place. Come around with my little piece of wire. Pull it tightly. It's real important to pull this tightly. Okay, there's my measurement. And cut. There you go. That's how it looks. See? You don't do anything differently. Everything is just the same. It's just the same step over and over and over. Here we are, our last piece of ribbon. There's my little dovetail. There's my measurement to the end of the board. Pinch. Nice pinch. Wire it in place. Tightly. Very tightly. So you can tell by the look of my hands, I'm really pulling on that. Okay? Get this out of your way. There's my pinch. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna give it a good twist because I want a good tight twist on there. Okay. There's my twist. I'm gonna put it right back in place. Here's my little piece of wire. Wire it in place. Now we have a completely wired off stacked bow. Our last little dovetail, last little measurement right here. And there we are. Now what you want to do is, okay, you're going to bring these two down. I like to keep everything very neat. Come back and get that piece of wire that you started with. You left that little tail. Don't pull it straight up, it'll knot it. Look, I'm going to give it a little jiggle. And I'm going to pull it right down the center. See, that's how it should look. You're going to come back and get this piece of wire. Can you see that? You're going to come back and get that piece of wire. And you're going to wire your bow off. Now what you want to do is watch this. I want you to pull this tightly. You want to keep it stacked. You don't want it to move. You don't want it to bend or anything. But you do want to wire this off tightly. Just kind of push from here. Get it a little tighter if you can. It opens prettier. It just opens prettier if you just kind of push in right here and then wire it off. There you go. And lift, and your bow is made. I was really slow the very first time I did this. I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work, but I can do them so much faster now than I did to begin with. Of course, I'm very slow here because I wanted you to see just every little step. But you see how this looks? See how it's stacked? See how deep this bow is? That's what really gives you that different look. This is a very deep bow. See that? And it's not all bended or anything. It's just one ribbon is stacked right on top of the other. And then that is how this is supposed to look at this stage. Okay, now we're going to fluff our bow. Okay, now we're going to fluff our bow, and I'm going to let you in on my secret. And the reason why I haven't done this before is because I couldn't find anyone who would make these boxes for me. I have so many ladies that wanted to buy one, but just as soon as we finish this, I'm going to make a video on the box itself. And after you see that, I think you're going to really want a box. You're going to see why the bows come out so beautifully. It's using the box. This is a wooden box. My box is full of sand. If I have one here at my warehouse and I have one at home, if I don't have this, I just don't even open bows anymore. That is just how good I think this is. It's a wooden box, as I said before. It needs to be wood because this is an eye hook. A cup hook doesn't work. The hole is too big. You need an eye hook. And then what you do, and I'm going to show this more in the next video, but anyway, it has that little, the tip is cut off because an eye hook closes. But what I did is cut the tip off, and you see this nail here? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. You see my bow, how I made it? I'm going to slide my wire underneath that, into that eye hook. Pull it tightly. Sit your bow up, and then take your wire and pull it over here. Take your wire, see the little nail? Get it around there just once. You just want it to just hold for now, that's all. No more than that. You want this to slide off very easily. So now, my bow is sitting up, and it's perfectly ready for me to start opening it, start fluffing my bow. So because it's anchored, see what I do? Put my fingers all the way through these loops. Don't pull from the edges. I've torn ribbon doing that before, but I get in here and I make this ribbon go where I want it to because it's anchored down. Before we used to say we would air open our bows. We take our bows and we just start pulling on them. We just start doing that. Well, if you pull, and then look, I did that for years. Whenever I had my store, that's the only way you did it then. But I've since come up with this, and it's just so much nicer. So I kind of just, so now this is anchored down. The box is heavy, it's not moving on me, and you can see I am pulling, and I am able to pull this ribbon around and make it go where I want it to. Okay, and just open it, and then, because this is wired ribbon, see, you can just slide your fingers down. See that little curl? So you just kind of slide your finger on it. See the nice pretty little curl? How easy is that? Isn't that wonderful? Now, I'm going to just pull this over here. And then there's my loop. And let's see, that's here. Because we have all these colors, we want to move these colors around and make a pretty bow. So I'm going to move this over here and do this. Just keep moving everything around, nicely spaced away from it. You know, you don't want to, you want to try to kind of, you don't want those right on top of each other. So you see, because it's anchored down, I can pull that way over here. See, I'm giving a tug on that. I'm pulling on this side, I'm pulling on this side. Because it's wired, I can give a good tug, and I can make that piece of ribbon come out over here and stay there. Okay? So you see how our bow is just forming beautifully. So let's see, I think I want this right here, where I have a bunch of tails coming out here. I like these little tails coming out the top. It's going to end up like this, have a little tail over here. Let's see, I'll start one right here. Let's see, I don't want the yellow coming out right under that. I want that blue coming out under this. See, I can just decide how I want my colors to be next to each other. I move the yellow to over here in this position, and then I'll change the tail position because I want them apart. So you see how you go about fluffing your bow. I just move my ribbon around, put it in the position I want, and because it is anchored down to this box, you can do that. So here we go. I'll leave this. Let's see. We just have tails over here, no loops. So I'm going to pull this loop over here. And look how nice that looks next to the oranges. These play off of each other, just really pretty. And so there you go. So how easy is that? Don't you love having that bow anchored down, and how easy is that to now fluff your bow? Let's see, that needs to go like that. I play and I play. Sometimes I never know when to stop. That's pretty. That'll look good there. That'll be good here. Okay. Now, turn it around. and finish fluffing here. Where do I want to put my, see my next one, and see I don't want my yellow right under that. I like my blue under that. So let's see, I'm gonna pull this over here and this over here. And switch positions. Let's see, I need the blue under the yellow. And because it's anchored, see, I gave that a good tug. I'm pulling it around and making this ribbon do what I want it to do, make it go where I want it to go. And because it's wired, not only is it wired ribbon, but it's wired in place in there. So that is staying, and you see how nice and full and tall my bow is getting. That's because it's stacked and wired in place. And there we go. We're done. We are done. How wonderful. How wonderful is this? I love this. Now look at this. Is that great? Don't you love that? So there you are. The Terri Bow. Thanks again to Terri Lynn Marshall for this wonderful design. I hope y'all have fun. Bye for now.